We're gonna say it, flights to New Zealand are expensive, but luckily there are some great hacks for saving money on flight tickets that we'll go through in this video. Plus, we'll give you 7 quick tips for booking a cheap flight to New Zealand coming up.
What's up guys, we're Robin and Laura, the team behind BackpackerGuide.NZ, helping you plan an epic trip to New Zealand.
A trip to New Zealand doesn't seem real until you book your flight, but because these islands in the South Pacific are far away from anywhere, you can guarantee that it's going to take a good chunk from your bank account. Bad times. However, as budget travel know-it-alls here at Backpacker Guide, we are going to give you some tips to book a cheap flight to New Zealand so you can spend it on more important stuff like bungee jumping or even throwing yourself out of a perfectly good plane.
So from the cheapest days to travel to the cheapest places to buy your plane ticket, here's a quick guide for getting a cheap plane ticket for your New Zealand adventure.
But before we get into that, we post videos about New Zealand every single day, so hit the subscribe button for all your New Zealand trip essentials.
Now let's get on with the video.
Let's start with the cheapest day and time to book a flight.
The #1 rule for how far in advance you should book your plane ticket is don't leave it to the last minute. The closer to the flight date that you leave it, the more likely the price will have rocketed.
However, according to too complicated to comprehend algorithms devised by various airfare websites, the magic date for booking the cheapest international flight is 47 days before your flight date, or some like to say 6 weeks to 2 months, but you get the idea. Additionally, booking a flight on a Tuesday is sometimes cheaper as some airlines put prices up on a Wednesday.
As for time of day, there is little evidence for a golden hour to book your tickets. However, some have suggested midnight at your chosen airline's local time when booking direct will give you the cheapest price. For example, for Air New Zealand, that would be midnight New Zealand Standard Time, so give it a shot.
But for those who can't wait until that special 47th day, you are still guaranteed to make some sort of saving on your flight ticket if you book 1 to 4 months in advance. Booking ridiculously early, however, won't give you much of a saving.
Next, what are the cheapest days to travel on?
Tuesdays and Wednesdays are commonly known to be the cheapest days to fly on due to the theory that everyone wants to fly on or for the weekend. Makes sense.
Our advice is that the date you arrive in New Zealand should be pretty flexible. Just pick a preferred month you would like to arrive in, not necessarily a preferred day. With that in mind, you can select the cheapest day out of the week or two that you have selected. Especially if you are doing a working holiday or just backpacking. If you're going to be in New Zealand for a few months to a year, does it really matter what exact day you arrive on?
Let's talk about the cheapest type of flight ticket to book.
There are 3 types of flight tickets: one-way, return and open return or open-ended. And the differences are: one-way ticket is traveling in one direction with no flight back to where you started. A return ticket is the flight out to your destination and then back again via the same or similar route. And an open return is a set flight date for getting to your destination, but the date of return is open, allowing you to book your return flight that you've paid for at a later date.
Which type of plane ticket you choose depends on your own choices such as flexibility and ease. For long-term stay in New Zealand, a one-way ticket both to New Zealand and back again is likely to be the cheapest and most flexible. An open-ended plane ticket is by far the most expensive.
For a full pro and con list of each plane ticket type, take a look at our return versus one-way article on BackpackerGuide.NZ. Obviously, we'll put the link in the description below.
Where is the cheapest place to book a flight?
Here's where you need to do a little bit of research. First, start with the flight comparison website, which will gather all the cheapest flights to your destination. They will also tell you what is the actual cheapest airline to fly with. With that information, then go straight onto the airline's website and book directly with the airline. They will either match the price of the flight comparison website or even sometimes be cheaper. It's one of the reasons why it's best to try to book direct before using booking websites. We have more advice on booking direct linked up in the description below.
If the cheap price isn't displayed on their website, then give them a call to see if they will match it. It's worth giving a shot.
Finally, what else can save you money when booking a flight?
There are a few small tweaks you can make to how you search for flights that will show you cheaper airfares. For example, use private browsing. Airfare websites are notorious for using cookies to track what flights you have been searching and then bump up the prices the more you search. It's a way to make you panic into buying the tickets before you think the price is going to spiral out of control. Well, private browsing eliminates those cookies and shows you the cheapest prices on offer. On Google Chrome, private browsing is called incognito, and on other browsers you will need to find a setting like Open Private Window.
Another tip before you commit to booking a cheap flight, make sure it isn't one of those airlines where you have to pay extra for basic inclusions. Be aware of extra fees like luggage allowance, meals and seat selections, for example.
And finally, see if it's cheaper to use 2 different airlines if your flight involves a stopover.
There you go, that was our tips on getting a cheap flight to New Zealand. To round things up, here are those 7 quick tips for booking a cheap flight in a nutshell.
Number 1. Book 6 weeks to 2 months before your departure date.
Number 2. Fly midweek to avoid weekends.
3. If staying in New Zealand for a few months, book one-way tickets.
Number 4. Book directly with the airlines.
5. Be aware of extra fees such as luggage allowance, meals and seat selection.
Number 6. Consider taking 2 different airlines if your flight involves a stopover.
And number 7. Use private browsing to see cheaper airfares.
Kids, if you're not sure what private browsing is, it's the same window you use to go on Pornhub.
So that's it for our guide to how to book a cheap flight to New Zealand. You can now head over to our Everything You Need to Know About Arriving in New Zealand video, which we'll link up in the card as well as in the description. Also, see what to declare when arriving in New Zealand in another video we'll link up too.
If you found this video useful, please support us by hitting the like button and even hit the subscribe button for more New Zealand videos just like this one.
Until next time, travel awesome!